And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you how you can kill the nice guy in you.
So what's crazy about all of this is she'll meet a nice man now. Let's say she goes back on Tinder and meets a nice normal man who would never do anything to her, never steal. She's not going to like that man because he's boring.
If you find yourself constantly apologizing for every small thing, you're not able to make any firm decisions, and you're also constantly exhausted from trying to fit into everyone's schedule, you're probably suffering from nice guy syndrome. Let me roll the tapes back to my early years. My story of being a nice guy, I believe, started long before I had any awareness that this was going to be an issue that plagued my life for the upcoming years. You see, my parents got divorced when I was 15 and I never really had a father or masculine figure in my life. I had been raised by my grandmother and my mother. I'm honestly not creating this video to blame anyone, but to be honest and vulnerable. While I had become the nice guy that I was, I think it simply comes down to needing my father's acceptance. Shit, that was harder to say than I thought that it would be. Not receiving my father's acknowledgement as a child or a teenager pushed me to do many things to try and gain his acceptance. And so began my broken mindset that if I was nice, then I would be accepted. In my teen years, I tried my hands at many things and became pretty good at a few things, including sports like basketball, storytelling contests, and even in academia to win some form of acceptance. In uni, I tried to be a friendly person, trying to assert myself to as many social groups and activities as possible to find a group to which I could be belonged. But as soon as uni was over, a lot of the friendships didn't last or stick either. As I now reflect in my 30s, I believe the issue simply came down to me trying to be a nice guy to everyone and not really a real person with anyone. Being nice helps you with companionship, but real friendships require honesty, vulnerability, and having a real feel for who people are. And my hope with this video is to offer you a quick guide and hopefully some form of healing for how you can overcome or kill the nice guy in you. Prior to going into these next 3 steps that I feel might help you overcome or destroy this nice guy syndrome that you have in you, I also like to say that nice guy syndrome probably does not only occur amongst men, but it might come out in women as different triggers or through different actions as well. Whilst these 3 steps have really helped me in my life, they're not a prescription or a cure-it-all. I would highly recommend that you take a bit of time and really deep dive into finding out for yourself why you're constantly exhausted or why you're constantly out of your wits trying to fit into everyone's mold or trying to please everyone that's around you. The first step to killing the nice guy in you is to simply stop apologizing. Your words carry your life, identity, and is a huge reflection of how you see yourself internally. I found myself apologizing just for every small thing with the intention of trying to keep the peace in every interaction or relationship that I was a part of, even if I was not in the wrong. This was even further encouraged by my Asian heritage, where we often try to avoid conflict as much as possible, and the easy route to this is to simply apologize to try and keep the peace. And this was even amped up even more by my Christian heritage, where a lot of times I was preached to turn the other cheek. That's what Jesus spoke about, but this was often taken out of context to the actual scripture that Jesus was speaking about. To add to this, being raised by 2 women, my mom and mostly my grandma, I was often encouraged to be the first to apologize, be the first to take a stand, be the nice guy and try to keep the peace. It's okay if you were wrong, just apologize and be the bigger person. But today, here now that I'm 32, I'm trying to look at you, look at my younger self and tell men or younger guys out there, take a fucking stand. If you do not feel like you are in the wrong in a specific situation, simply don't apologize. As a matter of fact, once you become conscious about this behavior of constantly apologizing, what you realize is you are the kind of person, just because you're a nice guy, you're apologizing for the most random of things on a daily basis. Many of you might even come to realization that you start most of your sentences with "I'm sorry." As a matter of fact, I did not realize this about myself until I was in my late 20s, where one of my Westerner bosses actually pulled me aside and said, "Hey Aaron, what are you sorry for?" To which I responded, "I'm sorry? What are you speaking about?" And he emphasized to me, "There you go again, you're just apologizing. What are you apologizing for?" I was like totally blown out of my mind that Yeah, I just realized that I'm basically apologizing half the time as a start to any of my sentences. Whilst this might seem like a very minor issue to you, I believe, or at least I speak for myself, where this act of constantly apologizing actually comes from a much, much deeper place where you're constantly trying to appease the situation or trying to be the nice or the bigger person in every situation. But more often than not, it is more of a fear-based mechanism where you're just trying to apologize so you don't get attacked. Okay. An easy tip here for guys and girls that are watching this video: simply swap out your "I'm sorry" for "excuse me." For instance, if you were to cross somebody on an escalator, rather than saying "I'm sorry," just say "excuse me." If you need somebody to hold the elevator for you, don't know why I'm talking about elevators so much, but if somebody needs to hold the elevator for you, just tell them, "Excuse me, could you hold that for me?" rather than saying "I'm sorry." Hell, half of you might probably every single time that you sneeze, you might also respond by saying "I'm sorry" instead of "excuse me." So today, I just want to start by helping you come to realization that apologizing or being apologetic for every situation does not make you humble or does not make you a better person compared to the other person next to you. As a matter of fact, a lot of times I believe, I'm speaking from personal experience, that it has a much, much deeper root, a much, much deeper situation where there's some form of hurt or childhood trauma that you've not dealt with that's now surfacing as you becoming a nice guy and apologizing for every situation. So stop. Step 2, find your purpose. I believe this is the most crucial step. Find out what you enjoy, what you're here to do, and what you want to accomplish with this gift that is your life. As a man, more often than not, you have an innate drive to want to accomplish something in your life, to want to build or want to amount to something. But more often than not, you're just afraid and crippled by what could be that just stops you from even taking those first steps to finding your purpose. Here's a simple formula to finding your purpose. And you might be thinking, what are you rambling on about finding your purpose, and how will that help me destroy this nice guy syndrome or this nice guy persona that I constantly have? Trust me, I'm leading you somewhere. Use this simple formula to help you find your purpose. Number 1, create a list of things that you are naturally good at. And trust me, you have something that you're naturally good at. Just sit down, list down as many things as possible, and highlight the top 2 things that you feel that you are naturally best at. Number 2, on a separate column, list down everything that you enjoy doing. It could be completely random. Every one of us are made unique. You could enjoy reading, you could enjoy coffee, you could enjoy gardening, you could enjoy building, you could enjoy tech, you could enjoy coding. Each one of us are curated so differently that the list of things that we enjoy is usually very different. Step 3, cross the items across those 2 lists and ask yourself which one of these items I could do for the rest of my life, and if any of these items could be beneficial to humanity. Put this all together in a sentence, and what you would have is you would have identified your purpose. For instance, I know this sounds absolutely ridiculous, but when I was in my mid-20s, I started doing this exercise to really find out who I am. And I believe my purpose in this life is to embody the life of a man who flourished by receiving an abundance of God's grace in all areas of my life. With me identifying my purpose, I started to craft an identity of who I was and who I was not. Now that you're confident in your identity and who you are, you no longer have a need to fit into everyone's mold or try to please everyone, because all of a sudden, your life serves a higher purpose. Each morning you wake up with something to do, with something to accomplish, and if that does not fit into the agenda of somebody else, you don't have to be nice about it, because what you would have realized by now is that your life has meaning, your life has purpose, and your life is here to accomplish something more. For the first time in your life, you wake up every morning excited, exuberating energy, and most importantly, you would have approved of yourself. So every trauma that has led prior to this moment of you identifying and understanding who you are would completely be eradicated, and your need to please every person in your life or every other friend that you have in your life that you don't really find yourself fitting into anymore will just dissipate. Step 3, start saying no. Very often, growing up in an Asian household, saying no sounds almost like saying a cuss word. You're not supposed to say no. Whatever your parents say, you must say yes, mama, yes, papa. And what I absolutely love about my daughter is she loves saying no. I believe we've given her a sense of confidence where she's able to start deciding at a very young age, even from 2 years old, what she likes and what she doesn't like, and we don't discourage that in her. Maybe, just maybe, why you're completely worn out, depressed, and tired all the time is because you're probably saying yes to everything. You're probably completely exhausted and stretched out of your wits because everyone's priority is your priority, which simply means that you have no priorities. And without priorities, you will not be able to say yes to certain things and no to certain. For instance, some drama could be going down in your family, and because you are the nice guy or the nice person in your family, you would probably be the one your family turns to mediate or help bring peace into that current situation. If you are on your purpose and you have a very clear priority of what you want to get done, you'll probably just say no. Figure it out yourself. You guys are a bunch of adults. Especially growing up in an Indian family that's constantly going from one drama to another, this completely helped free me because I just said, no, it's not my problem anymore. If you guys have an issue with each other, go and solve it on your own. And that completely liberated me from being constantly exhausted or even more so emotionally drained from trying to appease everyone's situation. Now that you have your purpose and you know what you're going to say yes to, saying no to the things that do not help fulfill your purpose, or saying no to the things that are not in the priority list for your day, your week, your month, your year, is going to completely change your life. And when you look back, you'll start to realize that, hey, I'm not a nice guy anymore. In fact, I'm an effective individual. In fact, I'm an impactful individual. In fact, I'm a person that has brought about change not only in my world, but in the people around me as well. Before I bring this video to a close, I don't want to end on a dark and gloomy note about how killing the nice guy in you is going to help make this world a better place. But my hope with this video is that when you stop pretending to be a nice guy to the people around you, you start to develop and attract real relationships. Relationships can only be built over time, over vulnerability, over moments of going through things together. And if people are there just to treat you as a doormat, or people are there just to take advantage of you because you're just that nice person or you're just that Christian boy from church, today I'm here to tell you that there was never God's purpose for your life. Neither is it great or advantageous for you as a man to be a nice guy. Neither will it help you with creating sexual tension with the opposite gender if you're trying to attract a woman to be a part of your life. So I really hope that with today's video, you apply these 3 steps, stop apologizing, find your purpose, and start saying no to help you live the most intentional life that you can. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this adds some value to you. I'll catch you in the next one.